Hi, it's Stephen here for Bland Designs and Class Act, and I thought I would do a short little video comparing some of the different ink sprays that I have. The reason I'm doing this is twofold. One, it's because I'm about to run an art journal class where I'm going to be featuring uses for spray inks, and two, because I think there's probably a lot of confusion out there about the different types of ink sprays and what they're like, because there's quite a few of them on the market. This is not a scientific comparison at all. I simply grabbed some of my ink sprays from my stash and I sprayed them on watercolor card stock just to show you what they look like, and I'm going to give my personal opinions about each one. Again, you may have different results with these. Everybody has their preferences, but these are mine. So I'm going to start off with sprays that I've actually made. There are many YouTube videos out there showing you how to make your own spray inks. Let me say right from the start that yes, I know spray inks can be expensive. However, I have found in my own experience that buying the commercially made ink sprays, although they cost more than making your own, give you better results. Now maybe it's the way I mix them, I don't know, but I'm going to show you what I like and what I don't like about them. So right off the bat, I'm going to start with a homemade spray that I made using Liquitex inks. Liquitex inks are acrylic inks that come in bottles like this with a little eyedropper. They're used by artists for different painting techniques, and I've used them for mixed media pages and things like that. And all I did with these was I put a couple of eyedroppers full into a mini mister, topped it up with some water, gave it a good shake, and sprayed it. And here's the result, as you can see. Now, they're not bad. Remember, this is on watercolor cardstock. You are going to get a different look depending on the paper you're using. So if you're using just a plain cardstock, it'll look a little different from this. If you use a cardstock that you've pre-treated with a coat of gesso, it's going to look a little different as well. But all of these I've done on watercolor paper that has not been coated with gesso or anything else. So here I just grabbed 3 colors and spritzed them on. And you can see you get some nice water marking on it. The colors don't tend to be that vibrant, but they'd make an interesting background. So as homemade sprays are concerned, this is not a bad method. However, these little bottles of Liquitex are not particularly cheap. I don't think I have a price tag on this one. I think they range in price from about $5 up to maybe $7 depending on where you buy them. And I am in Canada, so I'm talking Canadian prices. They're probably slightly cheaper in the States. However, if you want to, they have a lot of colors, so you can mix up quite a few different sprays from that. My next is Perfect Pearls. Perfect Pearls is mica powder. So your spray will have a bit of a shimmer, and I don't know if the camera's picking this up in this light, but there is a little bit of a shimmer. So this is what Perfect Pearls look like. They're basically powdered mica that have a color pigment in them, and they also have a binding agent in them as well to make them stick. I just took a couple of little scoops of the Perfect Pearls, put them into a mini mister, and mixed it with a little bit of water, shook it up, and give it a spray. Now, this doesn't work bad for a homemade type of spray, but there is a problem. With mica and your sprayer, and especially with the mini sprayers I've found, it can clog the mini sprayer. This is why you see this little blotch right here. I picked up my mini sprayer, I hadn't used it in quite a while, and it clogged and it all came out in one big drop. This is a problem with a lot of these sprays, both homemade and commercially made sprays, I find. If you don't clean out your sprayer by running some clean water through it and giving it a few spritz and wiping it off with a baby wipe, you can have a clog problem. In some cases, you can unclog it by soaking it in some water for a little while and getting the spray through it. In other cases, your sprayer is done. You're just done. You can't do anything more about it. So this is a problem with not just homemade sprays, but with commercial sprays as well. The next one I made using Intense Blocked by Derwent. These are sort of a type of pastel-y type of crayon. And you can see they're really not meant to be made into a spray per se. They're meant to draw with. But you can shave off little pieces of these, and in fact you can get a little device, looks like a little tiny grinder, that you can put pieces of this in, grind it around, and you'll get little shards of the intense blocks and of the color, and they are water soluble. So you put a little bit of this into the bottom of a mini mister or a misting bottle, add some water, shake it up really well so the little bits all dissolve, and then you've got a spray. And actually it works fairly well as a spray. As you can see, the color is fairly intense with this. So, you know, if you're going to make a homemade spray, my suggestion is use the intense. The only problem is you've got to buy a box of them, and they're not cheap. Okay, so, you know, you might want to think twice about making homemade sprays from that. Another product that's on the market that I really love is Zinc. Now, these are a pigment. They're kind of like the Liquitex, except they have iridescence in them. So I don't know if they have a little mica. Yeah, they do. I don't know if you can see that. You see how it's settled out in the bottle? So you just shake it up. And these are not in spray bottles. And this looks like a little eyedropper. But it's not actually an eyedropper. It's a little glass rod. And these inks, you can drip them onto things. You can paint with them. But you can also take a little eyedropper, take a couple of eyedroppers full of this, put it into a mister with some water, shake it up, and you've got a spray. And the colors are fairly vibrant, and they keep their vibrancy, and I don't know if the light's picking it up or not, but there is a little bit of a shimmer to them as well. So if you're looking for something that'll give you intense color and some shimmer, this might be the way to go with the Zincs. They come in a lot of different colors, and they're not particularly cheap. I think they run around $7 a bottle. It might be a little less than that. I can't remember. However, you don't need a lot of them to make your sprays. It'll last a long time, and as I said, the color's fairly vibrant. Okay, so that takes us out of the homemade sprays. Now I'm going to talk about sprays that are commercially available. Mr. Huey has been around for a long time, and I found Mr. Huey by accident. In fact, I found it in a bargain bin, and they come in bottles like this. Okay, there's quite a few different colors. I think they're still making Mr. Huey. I have mixed feelings about this product. It does spray very nicely, and I picked random colors. I don't have very many colors of it, so don't mind the color blend here. It might not be the best. They work fairly well. They don't seem to, I've had these for quite a while, like a couple of years, and I haven't really used them in quite a while. So I didn't have too much of a problem with the sprayer in these either. Again though, if your sprayer doesn't work, take it out, soak it in some warm water, and get the water going through the sprayer, and then wipe it off well, and it should be okay. So as far as the product is concerned, these are not very expensive. I think they run around $5, maybe a little less. And like I said, I got mine in a bargain bin. So, you know, if you need just a few colors, they might be an alternative. All right, now I'm getting into the heavy hitters here. And these are the sprays that, yes, they cost more, but I really like them. The Delusion ink sprays are great. The colors are very, very intense. They are, I believe, a water-soluble spray. They look like this. I think they run around $7.99 a bottle, something like that. So they're not a cheap spray, but you get such intense color with them. And they blend very well together as well. Haven't had really any problems with the sprayers clogging up on these either, but do make sure you wipe around the neck with a baby wipe just to keep your plunger free so it keeps going up and down well. So you can see they're very intense. Now they just came out this year with a sister line of Delusions Mica sprays, and they're in the same color palette. I'll show you the bottle. A little smaller amount. They're in the same color palette as the regular Delusions ink sprays. I bought mine in sets of 3, And they have 3 coordinating colors in one package. I think it runs around $12 for 3, which isn't bad for, you're getting 3 bottles, although they're a little smaller. But the thing is, they've got mica in them, so on the bottom here, you can see it settles out. So there's a little mixing ball in some of them. This one I don't hear it, so I don't know if this one's got a mixing ball or not. But you really got to shake them around. Now, the problem is when you shake it around, you're going to get foam. You get air in it. So you got to let it sit for a while to get rid of that, or spritz it onto something else before you put it on your project. But when you do, you get this iridescent kind of glow. The only thing is, some of the colors are not as intense as the others. There's 3 colors actually on this, but only really 1 is showing up. Now, I don't know if I didn't mix it up enough when I sprayed it, although I shook it for quite a while. But the pink seems to show up very well, but the other 2 colors, I think one was a teal, and I'm not sure what the other color was that I used. So really, if you want to give something a bit of a light shimmer, they might be good for that, but I'm a little disappointed in the intensity of their color as compared to the regular Delusions. Now, speaking of shimmer, another product that I bought a few bottles of, I haven't bought very many, are the Bull Bunny Glimmer mists. And this is the gold Glimmer spray here, and I used it up here on the top, and there's a couple of other colors. They do have a great deal of shine to them. However, I had a lot of problems with these sprayers. There must be, well, there is. You can see it in the bottom. Oh, these are the ones with the mixing ball. You can hear it. There's the mixing ball. You really have to shake these up well, because all that on the bottom you can see is the mica or whatever they're using in it. And so you got, if you want to get the shimmer, and if this has been sitting for a while, you have to really mix it up well. See, it's starting now in that, but I still have to do this for a while. You've got to clean out the sprayer right after you use it. Take the sprayer right out, immerse it in water, spray clean water through it. Because I didn't do that on some of my bottles, and I thought I was pretty much, pardon the expression, screwed. Because I couldn't get anything out of the bottle. But I soaked them for a little bit in a sink of clear water, and I was able to rejuvenate the sprayer and get them activated again. The color in them is fairly intense. It has a very metallic sheen to it as well. So they're not a bad product, just if you keep in mind that you're going to have to clean your sprayer on a regular basis. Of course, my all-time favorite, and it's still my favorite out of all of these, is the Distress Sprays by Tim Holtz. Okay, they come in all his colors, so there's over, what, now he's got over 55 colors, something like that, moving on to 60. They're water soluble. You don't have to worry about your sprayer clogging up, and the color is fairly intense. So out of all of the sprays I've shown you, I'm going to go to my fallback one, which is always the Tim Holtz Distress Sprays, because I think for the price, they give you the best bang for the buck. The only thing you have to be aware of is that even though these are dry, if you're doing this in a mixed media project, they will reactivate with water. So you may need to lay down some workable fixative on top of them if you're going to put anything liquidy on top of them, or they're going to start to mix again together. But that's easy enough to fix with the workable fixative. So that's my review of the different sprays that I've used, both homemade and commercial. There are other ones on the market that you might be interested in. Oh yeah, one other one that I kind of forgot to mention is Memories Mist. It's an older product. It's been around for a while, but it's a very good product. I don't have a sample of it here. I'm sorry, but it's a good product, and it's no real problems with it either. It's I put it right there up with the Delusions sprays and the Distress sprays. So something else to consider. Okay, so I hope my little review here and my comparison has given you some food for thought, and happy spraying. Okay, this is just a little addendum to what I just showed you with all the different sprays. I mentioned at the end of the last part of the video about Memories Mist sprays. Well, I thought I should show them to you. So, actually, I forgot I had them. I really did. They're in the bottom of a bucket somewhere. Anyways, memory mist sprays look like this, and you can see the colors are very, very intense. I had a major problem with two of the colors I used on here because my sprayer was all clogged up. In fact, it was so bad I couldn't unclog it, and I actually had to put replacement sprayers on it, which you can order and get for this kind of thing, or you could simply take this and pour it into another spray bottle, an empty spray bottle, and label it. But the colors are very, very intense that come from this, and like, I really quite like them. If it wasn't for the fact that they plug up the sprayer, if you're not careful, then they would be my #1 product. Comparing them to the Distress and to the Delusions, I would put them in the middle of those two. So there you have it.